it's so sad what is going on in Iran right now. Really, I mean, it is horrific. This was never Islam to go around. You see, what people are doing is they are making, I'm not saying that's their intention, but the consequence is that they are making people hate Allah and His Messenger. And that is honestly, that is such a burden to carry. That if you are responsible for people distancing themselves from God and His Messenger because of your words, your actions, your pathetic inability to handle situations, that's on you. That's on you, man. So this kind of Iran, its regime, this whole thing with the hijab, this is not Islam to go around beating people like this, and they that with the whole what's her name, Masa, or I'm not sure how she pronounced it, but this whole case, may Allah bless her soul, she's passed away, and they this what seems to be a cover up of police brutality. They really need to stop these whole, this religious police, because the truth is power corrupts. You see, you can't trust people. It's like, when somebody came to Imam Malik and they asked him about this kind of impositional attitude, and they asked him a particular thing, and he said, well, he said, no, that does a person need to obey certain authority, and this to parental authority, and this was on matters of talaq and things, but the example that Imam Malik is giving, where he says no, and the person says, but Umar told his son and he had to obey. This is where they try to correct the teacher. The Humvee here, it's like, don't forget that I too am here. So Imam Malik said, sure, if you can bring me a father like Umar, then I will say. But these parents today, and this isn't a diss on parents, but he was trying to say people have agendas at play. They have politics at play. Let's not be naive. Let's not pretend. And, you give a bunch of people authority to go around, wielding their whip in the name of God. And you think they won't be corrupted by that. You're naive if you think they won't be corrupted by that. So now there's this incredible protest, and it's amazing that it's not getting as much coverage from the rest of the world. And women are just fed up in Iran, and they really, this whole thing, I wonder, ya salam, there seems to just be an unrest in the world. I hope that, things can just reach a state of calm. Ameen. But yeah, I don't know what's going to unfold there. I just, this is not the way of Allah and His Messenger. It's not the way. Even if they follow where did the Prophet ever go around saying to smack people and do things like this? Where did he say this? And you're forgetting, in Islam, the whole thing took such a long period. I mean, the longest period of the Prophet's prophethood was in Mecca, where there was nothing but just saying, look, just build a relationship between you and God. There was nothing else. There was no, people did pray. but they weren't mandated. Some people prayed, others didn't. And then before, a few years before the hijrah, the salah was then introduced. But for the better part, for that decade first, no. And people weren't, and just look at the verses of the Quran, وَثَيَابَكَ فَطَهِّرْ, that cleanse your clothes, your garments, stand upright, be just, be, just cultivate a relationship. And then in Medina, it was tadrijiyan, it was incrementally introduced. And it wasn't just like, and the hadith says that if there's a hadith of Aisha radiallahu anha that had Islam, the rulings come down suddenly, many of the people, or most of the people, would have rejected them. It took decades. Just because now Islam is here doesn't mean the fitrah of insan has changed. So, sure, this is how we do it. Be an example of compassion, an example of kindness. Smile. Doesn't matter if it's not their time yet. Go easy on them. Go hard on yourself. If you want to go hard, if you want to bully someone, bully your own ego. Don't, get somebody else. You wear the hijab. Well, what the hell is this about? It's her relationship with God. What does Qadi Iyad say? Great legendary Maliki Don of Muslim Spain, 900 years ago, Hafid of Hadith, one of the greatest scholars of Hadith this Ummah produced. And he wrote one of the dearest biographies on the Prophet, Ash-Shifa, he called it the cure. What does Qadi Iyad say? He says the obligation is not on the women. He says the obligation is on the men to lower their gaze. قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. He says whether the women cover or not, that's that's between them and God. So, if these people are going to lash their own eyes if it's that difficult for them, but don't create a hatred between people and God and his messenger. That's a grave thing, man. So, yeah. If you want to do something, do it with love. Just do it. People, their time will come. People, it's not that, maybe it's not their time now. It's okay. I'm sure there was a time for all of us when something wasn't our time. with a certain age, with a certain thing, we think, oh, right, okay. It's now our time. Maybe some things it's still not our time, but it's okay. Yeah.